Hi, Mommy.
My mom sacrificed a lot for me. I wouldn't be here without my mom.
Triple doubles for my mom, man. You know, I can't do nothing but thank her enough. You know, that's my pride and joy. I couldn't do it on her birthday, but I got it today, so.
Think you're a mama's boy? We're talking about guys who answer mom's call during press conferences, hang childhood photos in million-dollar mansions, and aren't afraid to get emotional when talking about their number one supporters. In this video, we're showing you the softer side of the NBA's toughest players. These tales will warm your heart and maybe inspire you to call your own mother. The NBA is known for its fierce competitors and high-flying action on the court. There's often a strong, supportive mother who helped shape their path to success. These athletes, who dominate the hardwood and command million-dollar contracts, still hold a special place in their hearts for the women who raised them. From humble beginnings to the bright lights of NBA stardom, these players' journeys are intertwined with their mother's unwavering support and sacrifice. In the world of NBA superstars, few stories are as inspiring as Bam Adebayo's journey from a single wide trailer to the bright lights of Miami. Growing up in North Carolina, Bam and his mother, Marilyn Blunt, faced challenges that would have deterred many. Their humble home, barely big enough for the two of them, became the foundation for Bam's resilience and work ethic. Life wasn't easy for young Bam. Money was tight and resources were limited, but what they lacked in material possessions, they made up for in determination and love. Marilyn worked multiple jobs to keep food on the table and a roof over their heads. She instilled in Bam the values of hard work and perseverance, lessons that would prove invaluable in his basketball career. Bam's early basketball experiences were far from glamorous. He didn't have access to fancy training facilities or top-tier coaching. Instead, he honed his skill on local courts, often playing against older kids who pushed him to improve. Marilyn, despite her exhausting work schedule, never missed a game. She was Bam's biggest fan and fiercest supporter, cheering him on from the sidelines and offering words of encouragement after tough losses. As Bam's talent began to blossom, so did his dreams of making it to the NBA. But the path from a small trailer in North Carolina to the professional league seemed impossibly long. Marilyn, however, never doubted her son's potential. She sacrificed everything to give Bam the opportunity to pursue his passion, even when it meant going without herself. Bam's high school career was nothing short of spectacular. His imposing presence on the court, combined with exceptional athleticism, caught the eyes of college scouts across the country. Offers started pouring in, and suddenly, the dream of playing in the NBA didn't seem so far-fetched anymore. At the University of Kentucky, Bam continued to impress.
Yes, Bam. Adebayo.
And his draft stock soared. As the 2017 NBA draft approached, the anticipation in the Adebayo household was palpable. On draft night, surrounded by family and friends, Bam and Marilyn waited anxiously to hear his name called. When the Miami Heat selected Bam with the 14th overall pick, the room erupted in cheers. Tears streamed down Marilyn's face as she hugged her son, both of them overwhelmed by the realization that their sacrifices had paid off. Bam was headed to the NBA, ready to prove himself on the biggest stage in basketball. In Miami, Bam's career took off. His work ethic, instilled by years of watching his mother's tireless effort.
Wow. A meeting at the summit, Doris.
That is a ridiculous defensive play.
Set him apart from his peers. He quickly became a key player for the Heat, earning praise for his versatility and defensive prowess.
I'm calling it right now, is not great for anybody else in this league right now.
As his on-court success grew, so did his bank account. And Bam knew exactly what he wanted to do with his newfound wealth. In a moment that brought their journey full circle, Bam surprised his mother with a new house. The look of shock and joy on Marilyn's face said it all. They had come so far from that single wide trailer, but they had done it together. As Marilyn explored her new home, tears of happiness flowing freely, Bam stood back and watched, knowing that this was just the beginning of how he planned to repay his mother for her years of sacrifice. While Bam Adebayo's story of rising from a single wide trailer to NBA stardom is inspiring,
13-year NBA career.
Wow. Great block. Took the initial contact chest to chest.
It's not the only tale of maternal influence shaping basketball greatness. Enter Javale McGee, a player whose journey to the NBA was paved by an Olympic gold medalist, his mother, Pamela McGee. Pamela McGee's basketball legacy is nothing short of extraordinary. She clinched gold with the USA women's basketball team at the 1984 Olympics, setting a high bar for athletic achievement in the family. But how does a child grow up in the shadow of such an accomplishment? For Javale, it meant basketball was woven into the fabric of his life from day one. From an early age, Javale was immersed in the world of professional basketball. He didn't just watch games on TV, he lived and breathed the sport courtside. As a kid, Javale was a regular fixture at his mother's practices and games. This unique upbringing gave him an insider's view of what it takes to succeed at the highest levels of the sport. Imagine being a young boy sitting on the sidelines, watching your mom compete against the best players in the world. For Javale, this wasn't a dream, it was his reality. He soaked up the atmosphere, the strategies, and the work ethic required to excel in professional basketball. This early exposure laid the groundwork for his own future in the sport. But growing up with an Olympic gold medalist for a mother wasn't always easy. The pressure to live up to such a lofty standard could have been overwhelming. Yet, Javale embraced the challenge. He once said, "It's definitely a blessing that she had me around basketball my whole life." This perspective shows how he turned what could have been a burden into a source of motivation and pride. As Javale's own basketball career took shape, the influence of his mother became increasingly apparent. The competitive drive that Pamela had instilled in him from a young age began to shine through on the court. Javale's unique skill set, a combination of height, athleticism, and basketball IQ, set him apart from his peers. It's hard not to see echoes of his mother's game in his style of play. Throughout his NBA career, Javale has often credited his mother's support and guidance as crucial to his success.
My mother definitely still hard working me, especially on the basketball. She had me up at 6 a.m. running around in the snow in boots, like working out.
Having a parent who understands the pressures of professional sports is a rare advantage. When faced with challenges of life in the NBA, Javale could turn to someone who had been there, done that, and brought home the gold medal to prove it. The McGee family's story offers a unique perspective on the role of family in shaping NBA careers. Few can say their mom is an Olympic champion in the same sport. This shared experience has fostered a strong bond between Javale and Pamela, allowing them to navigate the ups and downs of professional basketball together. Javale's journey shows that sometimes NBA success stories have deeper roots than we might initially think. His early exposure to high-level basketball through his mother's career gave him insights and opportunities that many young players could only dream of. It's a reminder that behind every NBA star, there's often a story of family influence and support that goes beyond the typical narrative. In interviews, Javale has shared touching sentiments about his mother's impact on his career. He once proudly stated, "How many people can say their mom's an Olympian?" This rhetorical question encapsulates the unique dynamic of their relationship, a blend of maternal love, athletic mentorship, and shared passion for the game. While Olympic gold medals and NBA championships are impressive, sometimes the most influential coaches in a player's life don't have any professional accolades. Just ask Zion Williamson, the New Orleans Pelicans' high-flying forward. His first basketball coach wasn't a seasoned veteran or a former pro. It was his mom, Sharonda Sampson. Zion burst onto the NBA scene like a human highlight reel, wowing fans with his explosive dunks and incredible athleticism. But long before he was dominating SportsCenter's top 10, Zion was just a kid with a ball and a dream. And standing right beside him, clipboard in hand, was Sharonda.
My mom she's everything. She's just always been there. When it was just me, her, and my brother.
When Zion was young, Sharonda recognized something special in her son. It wasn't just his natural athleticism or his love for the game. She saw a spark, a potential that needed nurturing. So she did what any dedicated parent would do. She became his coach. Now, having your mom as your coach might sound like a recipe for disaster to some. We've all seen those awkward parent coaching situations at Little League games. But for Zion and Sharonda, it was different. She wasn't just there to make sure he got playing time or to cheer him on from the sidelines. Sharonda was all in, focusing on developing Zion's skills from the ground up. Sharonda's coaching philosophy wasn't about creating highlight reel dunks. Those came later. She emphasized the fundamentals, the boring stuff that forms the backbone of any great player's game. She had Zion doing endless shooting drills, working on his ball handling, and learning the importance of footwork. These might not be the most exciting aspects of basketball, but they're the building blocks that separate good players from the great ones. But Sharonda's influence went beyond just X's and O's. She instilled in Zion a work ethic that would serve him well throughout his career. In the NBA, talent is a dime a dozen. It's the players who put in the extra hours, who push themselves even when no one's watching, who truly excel. Sharonda made sure Zion understood this from day one. As Zion progressed through high school and college, the impact of his mother's early coaching became clear. His aggressive playing style, his ability to drive to the basket with seemingly unstoppable force, these weren't just natural gifts. They were skills honed through the years of practice under Sharonda's watchful eye. Of course, having your mom as your coach isn't always smooth sailing. There were probably times when Zion just wanted his mom to be, well, his mom. And for Sharonda, finding the balance between being a supportive parent and a demanding coach couldn't have been easy. But their shared love of the game and mutual respect helped them navigate these challenges. As Zion's star began to rise, Sharonda's role shifted. She was no longer his coach in the official sense, but she remained his biggest supporter. At every game, from high school gyms to the bright lights of the NCAA tournament, Sharonda was there, cheering on her son and offering words of encouragement. Now that Zion's in the NBA, lighting up arenas across the country, he hasn't forgotten the role his mother played in getting him there. In interviews, he often credits Sharonda's early coaching as a key factor in his success. It's not just lip service. You can see the influence of those early lessons in every explosive drive to the basket, every smooth jump shot. Zion's story reminds us that sometimes the most important coaches in an athlete's life aren't the ones with the big names or the championship rings. Sometimes they're the ones who are there from the very beginning, who see the potential before anyone else, and who are willing to put in the time and effort to help that potential bloom. When you think of NBA superstars, you might picture flashy cars, designer clothes, and million-dollar mansions. But for many players, their first big purchase isn't for themselves. It's for their moms. These athletes who once dreamed of making it big while watching their mothers struggle to make ends meet are now using their success to give back in ways that range from heartwarming to downright hilarious. Take Bam Adebayo, for instance. Remember that single-wide trailer he grew up in? Well, it's a far cry from the luxurious house he surprised his mother with after signing his first big NBA contract. The look on Marilyn Blunt's face when Bam handed her the keys to her new home was priceless. It wasn't just a house. It was a testament to their journey together, from humble beginnings to NBA stardom. But Bam's not the only one showing love to his mama. Across the league, players are finding creative ways to thank the women who raised them. Some buy cars, others pay off mortgages, and a few even set up businesses for their moms to run. It's like watching a bunch of overgrown kids playing Santa Claus, except instead of coming down the chimney, they're rolling up in Bentleys with giant red bows on top. These gestures go beyond material gifts, though. Many players make sure their mothers are front and center in their moments of triumph. You'll often spot proud mamas sitting courtside, cheering louder than anyone else in the arena. And when it's time for award ceremonies or press conferences, you can bet these players want their number one fans right there with them. Victor Oladipo, for example, has been vocal about his mother's influence on his career. He once said, "The biggest influence on me growing up as a basketball player was my mom. She was so supportive and always wanted me to play." It's this kind of acknowledgement that shows how deeply these players value their mother's sacrifices and support. But here's where things get interesting, and sometimes a little funny. These NBA stars might be towering giants on the court, but when it comes to their moms, they're still just little boys at heart. Take Bam Adebayo again. During a post-game press conference, his phone started ringing. Most players would ignore it, right? Not Bam. He picked up the call right there, in front of all the reporters, because it was his mom calling. Can you imagine? There he was, fresh off the court, probably still sweating, answering his mom's call like he was late for dinner. This moment, both touching and slightly comical, perfectly captures the unique relationship these players have with their mothers. It doesn't matter if they're in the middle of a multi-million-dollar deal or facing a room full of journalists. When mom calls, they answer. These gestures, both grand and small, represent a full circle moment in the lives of these NBA stars. From the days when their moms were driving them to practice in beat-up cars, to now when they're buying those same moms brand new houses. The journey has been incredible. It's a reminder that behind every great player, there's often a great mother who believed in them from the start. As we've seen, the NBA stars aren't just dominating on the court. They're also winning at being awesome sons. These players show us that success is sweeter when shared with family. Their stories remind us that behind every slam dunk and buzzer beater, there's often a mom who believed in her kids' dreams. So what can we learn from these mama's boys of the NBA? It's simple. Never forget where you came from and who helped you get there. Whether you're hitting game-winning shots or just trying to make it through Monday, taking a moment to appreciate the people who've got your back can make all the difference. These players' actions speak louder than any post-game interview ever could. They show us that real success isn't about the trophies and contracts. It's about using your platform to give back to those who gave everything for you. It's a powerful reminder that no matter how high you soar, keeping your feet on the ground and your heart close to home is what really makes you a champion.